Hey, so I got these drums I'm working on. I want to get a little bit more harmonics on the 808. The perfect plugin is RBASS. I love using RBASS on sub basses and 808s, especially when I'm creating my own sounds from scratch, because it creates those really nice harmonics and you can hear them on crappy speakers. You can hear them, it just cuts through the mix, and it's my go-to for that. Now this 808 does have a little bit of harmonics already in it, but it's not really enough. I want it to cut through a little bit more than that. So here's how I like to use RBASS. You can put the RBASS directly on the 808 or the sub bass, but I like to do it in parallel. It's a better blend when you do it this way. Go to an empty mixer track. Here we go. I like to use the old school look for it. I know they have like the newer looking skins, but I'm an old school kind of person, so I like the old look of it. Okay, so first thing, you see this in and out button right here. Now if you were going to put the RBASS directly on the same track as the 808 as an insert, you would leave this in. What this does is that it blends the original signal in with the harmonics generated by RBASS. Now, because I want to use it on a send, I'm going to put this to out. This way it's not mixing in the original signal, because the original signal is already going to be playing. So I just want the harmonics without the original dry signal. And I'm going to go here on FL Studio and I'm going to route it to the mixer with the RBASS on it. Okay, I like the harmonics that it's generating. I like that a lot. But to make it fit even better, what I like to do is after the RBASS, I like to put an EQ just to cut out a little bit more low end from the RBASS signal. Because we already have the sub frequencies from the dry. We only want the harmonics coming from the RBASS. So I like to just do a little bit of fine tuning, make sure that we're not getting any sub frequencies at all. You can even turn that intensity up a little bit on the RBASS. The intensity knob is pretty much self-explanatory. It's just how intense you want the effect to be, and it generates more harmonics the harder you push it. And as you heard earlier, the frequency slider, it may sound better or worse depending on what notes that your 808 is hitting. So just play around with this slider until you feel it sounds good. That's what I do. There's only 3 sliders and 1 button on here. You can't really mess this up. Here's another important tip. Whenever you're EQing low bass, synth basses, sub basses, and if you're blending 2 different kinds of basses together and you want to EQ one a little different than the other, I like using linear phase on this. Most of the time, it sounds better than with it off, and you can hear a difference. Now you may like it better with the linear phase off, you may like it better with it on. For this particular instance, I like it with the linear phase mode on. And also it's important when you're blending the 808 and the RBASS harmonics, just check the polarity. Maybe it sounds better if the polarity is flipped, maybe it sounds better when it's not. I always do this. It's always good to hear if something sounds better with the phase or polarity inverted. This goes for when you're working with kicks and 808s, kicks and sub basses, if you're combining 808s and live bass, 808s and synth bass, whatever. You always want to check your phase. Flip the phase on one of the sounds and see if it sounds fuller, because you don't want any phase cancellation. Yeah, in this case, it sounds better with the phase not flipped. But yeah, that's how I use RBASS on my 808s. You could just blend this to taste. And like I said, it's a lot easier having the RBASS on a separate track where it's easily adjustable. That sounds dope right there. Now let's give one final before and after. Hey, that's pretty much it. RBASS, man, I love this plugin. Again, this is one of those old plugins from like 20 years ago, but I think it's still the best at what it does. Try it out if you haven't.